guys like corn? Well, according to a CNN article by reporter Alexandra Sifferland from 2012, 85% of corn in the U.S. is genetically modified. These are a few examples of foods in the U.S. that are genetically modified. People think that genetically modified food is bad for us, but like non-GMO foods are bad as well because they contain a lot of chemicals that they spray on them, and these chemicals are known to be intoxicating. By learning more about genetically modified food, I hope to convince you about the great things they could bring to us. First, I will discuss the concerns people have with genetically modified food and go against their claims and have the government use at them. Next, I will discuss why they're still being produced. And finally, I will discuss positive effects it brings to us. We all have our opinion on genetically modified foods. According to the same CNN article from 2012, California tried to require labeling on genetically modified foods, but it failed in 2012. It was called Proposition 37, and according to the Library of Congress, last updated on 2015 by Senior Legal Information Analyst Luis Acosta, there is no law that requires GMO foods to be labeled, and the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, has the right to require the labeling if they want to, but they see no change in it, since what they claim is that if a food is different in any way from its counterpart, which is the organic one, then it should be labeled, but they see no difference between the organic food and the genetically modified food. According to a case study that a science specialist did, Chelsea, Snell, Al, Benheim, Jean Baptiste Burge, Marcel Kuntz, Gerald Pascal, Alain Paris, and Agil E. Bercrouch. The case study was Science Direct, and they did a case study in which they had 8 different groups that were going to consume genetically modified foods. They had a control group that was going to consume naturally organic foods, and it was going to be a 90-day process. And they saw no difference between the control group and the organic group, control group and the pretty much the experimental group. So they concluded that the genetically modified foods were safe to eat. Next, I will discuss why they are still being produced. According to an article in Journal of Royal Society of Medicine published on June 2008 by Dr. Susie Key and biotechnicians Pasquale M.W. Drake and Julian K.C. Ma, about 1.3 million people, a billion people, make under $1 a day. So the genetically modified foods, they are less expensive and they are faster to produce. So what this does is that it makes it more affordable for those people who have a lower income, like the people who acquired that $1 a day. Since they are faster to produce, and they require less time and you can produce more of them, they are altered in their genes to be able to be faster to produce. They are sometimes also altered to be able to withstand harsh conditions. Finally, I will discuss the benefits it brings to us and the ways of not only health-wise but also financial-wise. GMOs, according to an article from Live Strong by health journalist Joshua Dorochaville from January 2014, the positive effects include insect resistance. As you can see in the pictures right here, this is what they spray the organic foods with. And it's, as you can see right there, if it's not safe to breathe, is it safe to eat? Since most of them wear masks, since it is intoxicating food. Another positive effect it brings is environmental protection, since the spray is not evaporated, so it doesn't go to our atmosphere. It is just injected into the food itself. And another positive effect would be that they are more nutritious, since they contain more minerals, and they could be altered to contain vitamins to help us out. And the way they help us financially is that since they are lower cost, we're able to produce them more. And it doesn't only help us financially, but it also helps developing countries, since most of the percentage that are produced come from developing countries, helping them out, helping the people in those countries come out of poverty and be able to become developed countries. In conclusion, I have discussed the claims. I've gone against the claims that people have against genetically modified foods. Those who oppose and why they're still being produced. And I have told you about the benefits it brings to us and to the rest of the people. I hope by learning more about genetically modified foods, I have persuaded you in why we should keep them going, and why we should not require a labeling, since they are no different from the counterpart from the organic one. If not, they are healthier in many ways. Thank you.